Let's open our Bibles as we continue our series that we have been occupied with, the life of David. By the way, you can check the whole series on the website, www.tamiamibaptistchurch.com. You can check sermons there. You can look at some of the things we're doing in the website as well, Spanish, English. And you can get caught up with sermons if you have missed one there on the website. We have been looking at the life of David. We have entitled this series, A Man After God's Own Heart. And we continue on, we move on in the series. I'm going to try and introduce this part today and then come back the following Sunday and develop more on it. And we're going to go to 2 Samuel chapter 6. 2 Samuel chapter 6. We're going to read this morning verses 16 through 23. 2 Samuel chapter 6, verses 16 through 23. We have entitled the message today, Nakedness that Pleases God Over Man. Nakedness that pleases God over man. 2 Samuel 6, beginning in verse 16. Now, as the ark of the Lord came into the city of David, Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through a window and saw King David leaping and whirling before the Lord. And she despised him in her heart. So they brought the ark of the Lord and set it in its place in the midst of the tabernacle that David had erected for it. Then David offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. And when David had finished offering burnt offerings and peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of the Lord of hosts. Then he distributed among all the people, among the whole multitude of Israel, both the women and the men, to everyone, a loaf of bread, a piece of meat, and a cake of raisins. So all the people departed, everyone to his house. Then David returned to bless his household. And Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, "How glorious was the king of Israel today, uncovering himself today in the eyes of the maids of his servants, as one of the base fellows shamelessly uncovers himself." So David said to Michal, "It was before the Lord who chose me instead of your father and all his house to appoint me ruler over the people of the Lord, over Israel. Therefore, I will play music before the Lord. And I will be even more undignified than this, and will be humble in my own sight. But as for the maidservants of whom you have spoken, by them I will be held in honor." Therefore, Michal, the daughter of Saul, had no children to the day of her death. Nakedness that pleases God over men. One of the great tests in which our faith and allegiance to Christ will be tested is in the area of whether we're going to be found pleasing to God or pleasing to men. Let me say that again. One of the areas in which our faith, our allegiance to God, to Christ, in which we're going to be tested is whether we're going to be found pleasing God or pleasing men. David, at this point, had such a test in his life, and he chose to please God rather than men. We're going to see throughout the couple of sermons that it will take to be able to flesh this out, what allowed David to please the Lord. And we're going to see what lessons we can draw for that. The context, the ark of God. The ark of God is being brought into the house of David, into the